Daughter for Sale movie review. Hello and greeting everyone. For this video we gonna talk about Daughter for Sale movie point of view. In this video, we gonna discuss little bit on the movie introduction, synopsis, relation towards the movie, experience based on the movie, new discoveries, feeling and passion towards the movie, opinion, plan for future and conclusion. Introduction. Justice Unleashed, or also known as Daughter for Sale. It was filmed in Canada and released in 2017. Starring Emily Rose and Emily Tennant. The genre of the movie is thriller. The movie was directed by Farhad Aman and written by Vesta Giles. Produced by Odyssey Media Incorporated and Unleashed Productions. Darrow Films provided distribution services. Executive producers are listed as Amar Balagan, Christopher Collinville, Tara Cowell-Plain, Duri Shavar, Jack Nasser, Joseph Nasser, Pierre-Andre Rochen, and Keith Shaw. According to Section 2 of Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act 2007, exploitation shall include at a minimum the exploitation of the prostitution of others or other forms of sexual exploitation, forced labor or services, slavery or practices similar to slavery, servitude or the removal of organs. In Section 15 of Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act 2007, any person who profits from the exploitation of a trafficked person commits an offense and shall, on conviction, be punished with imprisonment for a term not exceeding 15 years, and shall also be liable to a fine of not less than 500,000 ringgit but not exceeding 1 million ringgit, and shall also be liable to forfeiture of the profits from the offense. Movie synopsis. Daughter for Sale tells the story of Annalise O'Neill, a beautiful single mom who has just been appointed judge. In celebration, Annalise has a party at her lavish home. What the guests downstairs don't know is that behind the scenes, Annalise has little control over her teen daughter, Carly. Although she knows Carly doesn't want to participate in the festivities, Annalise needs her to come downstairs and entertain the guests like a good little daughter. However, Carly has her own plans. To get back at her mother, who she believes works too much, she slips out of the house and into the night. While Annalise is entertaining her party guests, she discovers that Carly is gone. After she runs away, Carly meets a handsome stranger who offers to help her. With her quick tongue, she tries to let the stranger know that she is not just another naive teenager. This does little to stop the man from abducting Carly and throwing her into the back of a trunk, where she is whisked away to a dingy room full of other women who are waiting to be sold to the highest bidder. To Carly's surprise, she has entered into the world of sex trafficking. Can Annalise find her daughter back? Expectation in relation to movie. This movie based on true story. Firstly, we expected this movie are based on the mother's struggle and effort to find its own daughter that has been missing. Moreover, we also expected that her daughter is the subject of teen sex trafficking. In addition, we also expected that her son Carly O'Neill has always had a difficult relationship with her mom, Annalise. By all this event occurs, we expected that her daughter, Carly, runs away from home and never returning to home. To be more serious, we also expected that an antagonist character also, which is the person that always with her mother, and this antagonist character will look innocent to Annalise but that person are the actual bad guy. Lastly, what we are expected from this movie are correct. Experience based on the movie. There are a couple of other things going on in this movie and we feel really curious what will happen next. Within the first 30 minutes of the movie starting, we learn who the mastermind is behind things, and without giving too much away, it is one of the people who Annalise thinks is on her side and trying to help. Unfortunately, by telling us so early on, it robs Daughter for Sale of any real suspense and makes this a movie which builds to Annalise learning the truth and then putting herself in danger by trying to bring the person down. During the film, the character that put up a lot of surprise which is Chelsea, and she was the villainous partner of John Gallant, helping him kidnap girls for his human trafficking ring along with his other associate Edwards. Chelsea showing a lot of action that catch our attention, and we did not expected that a girl with a soft face will do an act until such limit. It add up more suspense feeling whereby in the scene after John ran into teenage runaway Carly O'Neill. This scene bring us to keep wondering whether they found or not Carly, eventually found her at a coffee shop, and Chelsea was able to lure Carly to her car, where Edwards chloroformed her. What make we sad which is in this scene we can see there are many of teenage girls that has being locked up in the small and dark room. Clearly mentioned to us that these criminals did not care about the girls' healthiness. For this also movie we can see clearly how the modus operandi being used by the criminal in order to kidnap their target. In the scene of the bidding session being held online, it is show that the modern ways deals with the crime of sex slavery. We feel a little bit sympathy to the girls, because they were treated like dolls. This movie has been raising anger feeling to Chelsea when the bidding session. Jenny, another kidnapped girl, panicked and tried to run away, but was stopped by Chelsea. Carly took her replace at Jenny's place in order to save Jenny, but Chelsea still had Jenny killed. In this movie, we saw the victim struggle to get away. They will do everything they can to escape from there. Here we can also how a mother put on her everything to get her daughter back. It really show a love between mother and daughter. Discoveries based on the movie. The first discoveries is the way of investigation to gather evidence. In criminal proceedings for human trafficking offenses, special investigative techniques, such as telephone interceptions and other forms of surveillance, undercover agents and controlled delivery have provided the fundamental information on entire international networks, the composition and modus operandi of criminal groups, identification of individual offenders and preparation of future offenses. Next, we are going to discuss on the conflict of interest. Conflict of interest may arise in any situation in which a person has a private, voluntary, charitable, commercial, political or other personal interest which could influence or could be perceived to influence them in the performance of their duties, as they may use their position, confidential information or company time and resources for private gain. Lastly, exposure on how human trafficking process being held. In reality, supply and demand of sex trafficking have increased through the years due to the internet that ease traffickers and buyer discreetly complete a transaction. Traffickers utilize social media, dating sites and online advertisements to market minors and trafficked victims. Passion based on the movie. Our passion towards this movie is about the human relation and the enthusiasm as a person to uphold the justice. Human relation is a very complexity to understand, especially to really know the truth, deceive, friend, and foe. Once a person is put under pressure, everything wrong might seem right as long the person achieve their goal. Greed of wealth is not of the sins that really can bring a person into a wrong way. We as a person who knew the law, must protect the innocent, especially the minority form being manipulated because of money. From the true experience perspective, the producer served the audience experience being a victim of human trafficking. We can see the dark side of the society, how frightening it can when we know our life gonna end as sex slavery. People will do everything for money, as once said, money come first. We also can see as young teenagers, little mistake might result in greater regret of our life. Each and every decision we choose, it must be wisely made. Opinion based on the movie. In our opinion, the movie has successfully addressed the issue of sex trafficking, especially the cyber or online sex trafficking. The main topic of the plot is about the online or cyber sex trafficking, real-life story, which have the setting in Canada. Recently, in the past few years, the issue of sex trafficking has been raised up by activists and alarmed the whole nation of Canada and the whole North America. The way and method that show up in the movie on how the crime was conducted was also being approved to be true by the later. In fact, in the reality, there is such a website which called Backpage.com. It is a website which people can easily posting of find ad for buying and selling service of an underage teenage girl. In addressing the storyline of the movie, we see that the storyline of the movies has clearly narrated and described the process in a clean and simple way. Adding on to that, the writer of the plot also manages to enrich the story content through creating a complex and captivating plot. Future plan based on the movie. In this movie there are at least 3 conflicts which we can identify. First is the conflict between mother and daughter. Second is the conflict between personal issue and work. Third is the conflict between friendship and professional ethic. For the first conflict, in order to overcome conflict between Annalise and Carly, the way that Annalise treat her should change and she also need to spend more attention at her daughter's growth. Carly should be more understandable person and daughter about the uneasiness of Annalise being a single mother and a judge at the same time. She also needs to be more matured in handling her own emotion. Second conflict, when a personal matter has stated to affect your ability to be physically or emotionally to focus, she should not let her emotion control over her. If the individual problem is not temporary and it has caused your work to be redundant, she might need to take a break or time off, so that the other person can substitute her job temporary. For the third conflict, as legal expert Annalise should know that what she did was against the rules and law. She did not listen to Derek and Judge Lawrence's advice to not to go on TV. But she still did it. What she did has already disturbed and interrupted the police investigation. Annalise should understand that the professional occupations such as police have their professional ethic to keep. And she should listen to Derek and Judge Lawrence and not going on to the TV broadcast and putting her daughter in an even more dangerous situation. Conclusion based on the movie. This movie provides the community about a current problem by highlighting and drawing attention in sex trafficking crime in such a way that the information and education provided can solicit action to make changes. This movie successfully provide not only entertainment towards audience but also awareness on the never-ending issue of sex trafficking. It can be said that the movie contributed significantly in helping to stop the sex trafficking crime through the power of raising public awareness on human trafficking.